Do you notice the world falling apart? Are you tired of the lies and deception? If so, then welcome to my channel, where we expose the lies and uncover the truth, helping you get ready for what's coming in the world and helping you get prepared now. Welcome to All Day, Everyday Preparedness. If you haven't realized, your money is not safe. Banks are closing branches and banks are closing people's accounts, and in some cases for no reason at all. Banks are on their way out and they know it. Now, what if your bank knew they were going to close and cease operations? Do you really think they would tell you and the other customers about it? Or would they just close and keep all of your money? Well, guys, this has happened before in the past, and it will happen again. But this time, it will be the entire financial system. I'm talking about an economic collapse. Now, back during the Great Depression, a total of more than 9,000 banks failed, and they took with them $7 billion of their depositors' money. Now, this was before FDIC insurance, but did you know that if an economic collapse, guys, happens here in America, all the banks will fail, the whole banking system. And on top of that, banks don't actually have to keep your money in the actual physical bank. They do what is called fractional reserve banking. Now, banks only have to keep a fractional amount of the money that you deposit in the actual physical bank. For example, if you deposit, let's say $1,000 into the bank only has to keep a fraction of that money. Let's say, for example, only they need to keep just $10 for that $1,000. Also, guys, keep in mind they're doing this for all their depositors and their customers. So this fractional banking or fractional reserve banking applies to everybody's deposits across the whole entire bank. So again, guys, if the economy tanks or we see an economic collapse, our money will be gone, guys, and it's going to be gone forever. Now, the FDIC does not have enough money, guys, to satisfy and make whole every depositor that's supposedly covered by FDIC insurance. You see, what's happening right now, guys, is unheard of and it's unprecedented, and it's a trend that's being carried around the world. Now, take a look at what happened a few months back in Lebanon and in China.
Market in recent years, while poverty and unemployment have soared, people desperate to get hold of their savings have now taken drastic action.
After days of pleading for access to his savings, Abed Subra took matters into his own hands. Armed with a pistol, he entered a bank in the Lebanese capital of Beirut and sparked a standoff that would last for hours.
They said they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay, and I'm not leaving until they do. They need to figure it out. Tell the guys they don't want to pay, and I'm not leaving from here.
The break-in was one of 5 so-called depositor heists across Lebanon on Friday alone. The country is in the grips of an economic meltdown, and strict limits on bank withdrawals have left millions unable to pay for basic needs. The crisis has thrown almost 3/4 of the population into poverty, and driven some to take drastic measures. Outside the bank in Beirut, public support for Subra was clear.
Hundreds of thousands of customers. State regulators have finally announced a second round of repayments to some of those account holders from next week. But as Patrick Falk reports from Beijing, this isn't the only banking crisis causing social unease.
For weeks, there'd been pockets of demonstrations. Then, one Sunday earlier this month, hundreds gathered in Zhengzhou, the capital of Henan province, demanding compensation. For months, they've been frozen out of their bank accounts with 4 rural lenders. Before long, thousands of security personnel appeared to suppress the protesters. Li Ming was one of the depositors there that day. That's not his real name, but Li Ming wants to keep his identity concealed, fearing possible retribution. A former taxi driver, he told us he'd deposited 1 million yuan, or around $150,000 into one of the banks that had blocked their customers' accounts. They were his family's savings, and they had entrusted him to invest the money.
The pain it has brought to us may be lifelong and could even affect our child's future.
The Henan bank scandal drew widespread attention even before the crackdown on protesters. Last month, many people in China were outraged.
As you can see, that was devastating to those people living in China and Lebanon. And it's happened here too, to some people too in America, just not on that big of a scale. Imagine your bank closing your account, or the entire bank branch suddenly closes with no explanation. You have no way to access your money, no way to buy food, no way to pay your bills, to buy gas, you name it. Your money has just vanished overnight. And more than likely, you will never see it again. And another thing, guys, if a total economic collapse happens, the FDIC will lose everything too. They don't have a special financial system or financial vehicle that they're holding your money in. It's part of the same financial system that would crash. So you can't depend on the FDIC, guys, to bail you out if the banks go under. So in short, guys, you cannot trust the banks to keep your money safely. You just can't do it anymore, guys, especially not all of it. So now, guys, it's up to you to decide how much of your money that you really should keep in the bank at any given time. It's also up to you to decide what to do with the money that you don't have in the bank. Now, some people go about this on a percentage scale, meaning that they only keep, say, 60% in the bank and have 40% available either in cash, precious metals, or they keep some of the money in some other type of investment vehicle. So if you still have all of your money tied up in the bank, guys, I would seriously rethink that strategy and rethink it quickly, because this is not investment advice or financial advice, but it's just like two friends talking, telling you that there's a problem with these banks and that you need to take some of your money out of the bank so you can protect it and have it available when you need it, because these banks, guys, are going to fail at some time. The financial system is going to collapse. It's not if, it's just when. Either way, guys, don't wait and don't hesitate, because we all know that the digital money, or CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies, guys, are coming. And it may not come with much of a rollout or a warning. The entire system could collapse, and more than likely, guys, that's how the powers that be would like for it to happen. Just a total collapse, unaware, and then you're stuck with this new CBDC or digital money. That's the way they would probably prefer for it to happen. And that may be the way that it's going to go down, guys. We just don't know. That way, people will be so desperate to sign up for anything that they're offering that can bring some normalcy back to their lives. Because imagine if you're without your bank, you're without your money, we're talking for weeks or months with no money and no way to buy food or no way to pay your bills. So that's what they would want, guys. So please don't let that happen to you, because it could be a real possibility. So you need to start preparing and start prepping for these things right now. Make sure that you find some other way for at least some of your money to be safe and grow outside of the bank instead of just stuffing it and tying it all into the bank. And one last note here, guys. Once digital money is in place, to be honest, there's actually not going to be a need for banking institutions anymore. Well, maybe not completely, but certainly if banks would still exist, it would only be marginally at best. Because think about it, you don't need the middleman. Once the government comes out with their central bank digital currency, you don't need a bank, because there's no physical paper money to hold in their actual bank vault anymore. So banking, I could see still being around in some capacity as a lender, but as far as storing money, that function would be gone. So again, most of these banks, guys, are on their way out. Just make sure that your money doesn't go out with them. You need to protect it at all costs. You can do that by taking some of your money out of the bank. Again, this is not financial advice or investment advice. Only you can decide what to do with that money when you take it out. But definitely don't hold it all in the bank, as you can see, guys, because once this happens, this financial meltdown, this economic collapse occurs, your money is not safe, and more than likely it will be lost forever. So get prepared, guys, and make sure that you're putting yourself and your family in the best position possible, because we can all see that these banks are going to fail, and we can all see that our money is just not safe, and we can all see that these banks are closing branches left and right. But guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit the like button, because that helps the information spread across YouTube. You really love the channel, then make sure that you subscribe. Also, don't forget that you can also hit that thanks button there right below the description to leave a donation if you're able to. I want to thank you guys for watching. Continue to prepare, and as always, be blessed.